Hi, I'm Michelle Cromer.
And I'm Perla Maldonado.
And you've tuned in to Creating a Meaningful Life, where we think deeply,
We speak gently.
we laugh a lot, we love much,
we work hard,
we give freely, and we encourage you to be kind.
Yes.
So, how are you? And that is gorgeous. Did you make this?
Yes, I did.
You did not.
Yes, this is my crochet. I'm hooked on crocheting.
Perla has a service where she goes out to the Army base, right?
I volunteer at Fort Bliss Army, and I teach the injured soldiers how to crochet.
I mean, that is really wonderful therapy for them.
It is. Crochet is very therapeutic, very meditational, and it's not supposed to be frustrating at all.
And do you make things like this?
Well, this is kind of an advanced project, but yeah, we're working.
So you do like scarves and...
We do scarves, we do little amiguri, little teddy bears and stuff like that. But that's just while they get ready, while they're learning.
Well, I love your stuff. I have 2 hats, one for Christmas and one I wear all the time. That one that has the turquoise, I'm going to wear that on one of our shows. Well, today we wanted to talk about prayer. And maybe y'all need a little bit of hope and something that you might want to consider, or you're needing something. And we want to just maybe talk about a little bit about prayers and cultures and
how to pray.
And how to pray. Well, did you know what the first prayer was?
No, I don't.
Well, the Abrahamic religions all agree on Adam and Eve. I mean, they can all say that they believe that's where their religions were birthed. And so Adam and Eve, before the apple and the snake and all that mythology, they were in commune. They were in communication, and they walked with God through the Garden of Eden, and they spoke to God. And so they say, because they were in this community with God, that was actually the first prayer. But in Genesis 4, we know for sure of the first prayer. So Adam and Eve has 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Y'all probably know that. Cain ended up killing Abel. That's another podcast. But they had a 3rd son named Seth. I wanted to name Sam Seth, actually, because he's my 3rd child. So, after Catalina died. So Seth had a son named Enoch. And in Genesis 4, he is thanking God for his son. And that is the first recorded prayer. And I find that very interesting. And I just returned from Bhutan. And I brought back some prayer flags. I learned about them in 2005 when I went to Tibet for the first time. And it's a really interesting culture in the way that they pray. They actually put these up on mountaintops, mainly, all over the nature and outside. And inscripted in these are prayers. And so what the Buddhist tradition does in their prayers is they don't ever ask for anything for themselves. They ask for compassion for the world and inner wisdom for all of us to have. Isn't that beautiful? So the next time you see a prayer flag, you can remember that. And also, they have these gigantic prayer wheels that are the size of Perla and I, and sometimes they're very small, but they spin them. And inside those big, huge barrels or small barrels are these prayers themselves that they think are a faster delivery system for that compassion and for that inner wisdom.
So they spin the prayers into the air?
They spin them. They're lined up, and you go and you just go through the prayer. Let me tell you a story. When I was in Tibet the first time, there was the epicenter of Buddhism called the Jokan Temple. And when you walk into the Jokan Temple, used to, now you can. I went back in 2011 and the Chinese government turned it into a hotel. But it used to be the most holy place in all of Tibet. And pilgrims would walk hundreds of miles and they would prostrate in front of the Jokan Temple, so much so that they would have a bruise right here. Well, I felt that I was unworthy to go into the Jokan Temple and lift my hand up and spin those prayer wheels, because this is not my faith. And I didn't walk hundreds of miles. Of course, I flew across the country, but not to do that. So I put my hands in my pocket and I got in among the pilgrims. And behind me was this old weather-faced pilgrim woman, and she took my hand out of my pocket and she linked it with hers. And together we went through the prayer wheels together. And at the very last one, she took off her prayer beads and she gave them to me and she dissipated into the crowd. If that isn't a complete act of compassion.
That's
was
all that those people, oh my God.
Just an amazing group of people. So that is the prayer delivery system in Bhutan. But you know that there's another delivery system in Catholicism. What is that like in prayer?
The rosary?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you pray the rosary for every decade you pray, according to the Catholic religion. And according to the Virgin Mary, she gains a rose on her crown every time you finish a rosary.
Here's an example of a painting of that, right?
And then there are her roses.
And so what, tell me, because I'm not Catholic, I wasn't raised Catholic. The rosary is a methodical.
You pray, there's two prayers there's a couple of prayers that you pray, primarily the Our Father and the the Mary prayer, which I don't think that all religions pray, but there are 5 decades of 12 beads that you pray. It takes about 20 minutes, 20 minutes to go through the whole thing. It's kind of meditative. You are supposed to meditate on every single day is a different scene or a different
situation
of Jesus's life.
Ah.
So every day it's a different situation, and there's 5 different scenes that you go through and you pray.
Oh, how interesting is that?
Yeah.
And I like the meditative aspect of it.
Yes,
right?
Because you pray, you start off with the Our Father, and you pray the Our Father, and then you follow it with 10 Hail Marys, which is where Virgin Mary comes in. 10 Hail Marys, and then you change to another scene. Like today, what is today? Monday. Today you would start with the Annunciation.
Oh, how interesting!
And so you start the beads would start the first 10 beads. You contemplate on the Annunciation. You go into the second set of beads, which is another 10. Which is the Visitation, where Mary goes to visit her cousin Elizabeth.
Oh.
So then the third one is the Nativity, and you contemplate on the Nativity. The fourth one is the Presentation, where you talk about, or you present, Mary and Joseph present Jesus.
Ah.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
And the last one is the Finding at the Temple. They find Jesus at the temple.
Mm.
So you pray your 10 Mary prayers while you're contemplating on these aspects.
Isn't that interesting? So there's a lot of different ways that you can pray. My grandmother used to say, if you want to have a relationship with someone, you've got to talk to them. And so she encouraged this daily prayer that we all do. And of course, we bless our food and we have different ways of praying. One thing that I know this is going to be kind of shocking. I never pray for someone's healing because I figure that's above my pay grade. Because we don't know what the karma is for that person, and we don't know how that is supposed to unfold. And so I always pray for courage and for clarity so that I can stay strong for my friends, or I can stay strong for myself or for my children. But that's just me. But I think the bottom line is developing a prayer practice will get you off yourself and onto a bigger story.
Well, the other way you could pray is, a lot of people end their prayer with "Thy will be done."
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Thy will be done.
Because it's like you're talking about being above your pay rate, grade. So, but what do I know? I leave it up. I give it to God's hands to do.
Right. And one thing I so appreciate about my son Sam, when he closes a prayer, he's always praying. He's the one that prays when we have meals. He says, "Bless this food to our bodies, and our bodies to your service." And that's the bottom line, I think.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much, all. Ask us questions in the bottom. We'd love to know if you have any thoughts or comments about prayer.
We try to answer them.
Absolutely. And please like our video and share it. We would love to have more opportunity to share our craziness. Thanks, y'all. This is Michelle Cromer,
And this is Perla Maldonado.
and we're wishing you all the best.
And creating a meaningful life.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.